Peace and love. I had some technical difficulties on the last show, but I'm back, right back. And like I said, we're gonna do West Africanisms in America. This is Malik Kamara, Team Osiris on the horizon. And over the last couple of weeks, I've been getting into it with people about who we are, especially since the whole Nick Cannon thing. And last week on my sister Tiffany platform, as I said, I had a debate or a discussion with a Moorish brother. And when you ask these people about our origins, they go into mythology and all kind of other stuff that we don't have anything to do with. And it's usually another person or another culture's mythology. And it really hurt me kind of because it's 2020 and it's enough information out there for us as a people to know who we are. So I wanted to bring a couple of my brothers on from Team Osiris that I knew had the sources available to show and prove who we are. And I brought my brother Carlos and my brother Geechee Gullah, gonna be coming on in a minute. And peace to the family and salam to my brother Carlos. What's going on, brother?
Salam, peace, my brother. Peace, my brother. It's a pleasure to be here on your platform and just to help spread the knowledge that Team Osiris, put in the work with,
Definitely. I want you to I know you said you wanted to break down a couple of things to start off so everybody can know what kind of direction we're heading in with the bill.
Right, yeah. So I just wanted to define a couple of terms that's associated with the topic that we building on today, for those who don't know and for those who know, just to reiterate what a lot of this stuff mean. So Africanisms are something, it's called an Africanism. An Africanism is any cultural, material or non-material or linguistic property of African origin surviving in the Americas or in the African diaspora. That's an Africanism. It's any kind of culture that was retained by African Americans or Africans in the diaspora. It's just a culture that gets retained. And a culture, we all know what culture is, but the definition, it's an umbrella term which encompasses the social behavior and norms found in human societies, as well as the knowledge, beliefs, arts, laws, customs, capabilities, and habits of the individuals in these groups. Humans acquire culture through the learning processes of enculturation and socialization, which is shown by the diversity of cultures across societies. So that's culture. It's something that's passed, it's behavior and knowledge and things that's passed down over time. It's useful knowledge that's passed down from ancestor to descendants. And the third definition I wanted to say was cultural continuity. This is an important one for those who are misled in the conscious community, who think, that we come from these various groups that we don't necessarily come from. We may have connections to certain groups because of fusions in culture and the transatlantic slave trade, but we're not Native Americans and we're not, whatever else these people think we are. Cultural continuity is the ability to preserve the historical traditions of a culture and carry them forward with that culture into the future. And it is closely linked to the concept of cultural identity. So that's cultural continuity. It's basically the link, just like Africans have retained cultural nuances from African Americans have retained cultural nuances from mainland Africans, West Africans and Central Africans, to be specific. We still have pieces of the culture, even though a lot was ripped from us. You can't rip everything. That's
not at all. And I think the problem with a lot of brothers is they think we've been disconnected from the culture completely, that they don't catch up on those nuances that we have from the food we eat, especially the food our grandmothers used to cook, from the music, to how we love the drum. Like, it's in us, it's in our spirit, man, and we can't even see it. And I think it's up to brothers like us and the rest of the team to put these things in their face to where they can't deny it.
Exactly. We have a culture. For those who don't, we have a culture.
I see my brother Geechee in here, and my brother Geechee and my brother Ngozi, they coined something called Western Sudanic Congo Creole to explain who our people are as far as our African lineage and the people we are here in North America. Peace, Geechee. What's happening, bro?
What's up with it, brother?
Good, man. How you living, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Finally dropping in. What's up with it? What's up with it, Carlos?
Peace, bro. What's the word? So,
you got anything you wanted to build on pertaining to the subject, Geechee?
I was gonna say, like you were saying, I call ourselves West Sudanic Creoles. You know what I'm saying? Because we descend from generally a cluster of people from the Western Sudan, from northwest Central Africa to Central Africa, and all them people spread a Sudanic culture. You know what I'm saying? From the Niger Kaddofian speakers like Wolof, Mindi, Fulani, and you know what I'm saying, those northern Sudanic languages, to even to Bantu. You know what I'm saying? That's a Sudanic culture as well. They just expanded out and moved south. You know what I'm saying? We all descend from them type of people. And we also a mixture of the New World too. So that's what we creolize. You know what I'm saying? We in the mixture of all that. That's just not African Americans in the United States either. That's the whole diaspora from Brazil to Caribbean, South America, Central America, all of us. You know what I'm saying? We all part of that Sudanic diaspora. Because for real, like when we say African diaspora, the African diaspora is really a Niger Congo diaspora.
Definitely, and that's powerful. That's deep. A lot of people don't even think about that.
Yep. That's a fact.
Like I said, from the food we eat, from all the one pot dishes and everything, man, it's undeniable at this point.
Now you know people love these intelligent people and people who curious for the knowledge love these type of conversations, and they can gain a lot from them. And I'm learning a lot just building with my brothers. You know what I'm saying? So it's a learning process, and just connecting back to where we come from and where we going, and the fact that we are in a sense new Africans, as well as, like, we in the new world, so-called new world. However, we have retained, like the brother Geechee was saying, that that Niger Congo powerful lineage. We retain that. So I wanted to actually share my screen with the public, and just to get them some visuals on where we come from. So
okay, yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and see how I'm gonna do this. Share my screen real quick.
Okay, bro.
Let's see how to do this here. Let me see how to do this here. All right. So I don't know if y'all. Let me see. Time screen. Let me see. Okay.
Yeah, we see it, bro.
All right. So you see that picture right there?
Indeed.
Now, that's showing. This is from the I think slavevoyages.org.
Yeah, it is. I think I got that map as well.
Yeah, they got a lot of information. If people want to know about, even when people say, where did the slave ships go, what's the proof that we were even able to be brought over here, they have a lot of documentation, written, and a lot of maps like this that'll show you exactly where we come from. And you see the Senegambia, you see Sierra Leone, the Gold Coast, you see all of that, and you see the majority, depending on the time period, a lot of us came from that Senegambia area and went straight to the Carolinas.
Straight to the rice coast. Yes, sir.
We came straight from that rice coast and went straight, to the Carolinas, and you can see the arrow pointing right to.
Yeah. And
Right
a lot of
Carolina.
I'm gonna say a lot of them the Senegambians, they went into Dominican Republic as well as with the farm, but they had a big presence of the Wolof too. They had a problem with the Wolof. They had to stop bringing Wolof to the Dominican Republic. They was rebelling.
Exactly, and you can see a lot of people from a lot of that West Central African influence in Brazil. So many of us, millions of us, went to Brazil, so they got a large population, and the Caribbean as well. I forgot to mention,
Yeah, Brazil. I think Brazil got the largest African population outside of Africa.
They surely do. Mm-hmm. They surely do. And you got to also remember that it's so complex because a lot of people say we were enslaved with different tribes. We couldn't understand each other and things like this. While that's true in some cases, but in a lot of cases, they took people. Whatever you did in Africa, they took you and transferred that to America. So, like you were saying, if you knew about rice and this and that type of cultivation in Africa, they would keep y'all together and put y'all in one spot in the Americas.
Indeed. Same with, we've been smelting iron a long time. They were bringing blacksmiths over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing we got to get out of. Our ancestors didn't come over here dumb and stupid. They came over here with skills.
Exactly.
To build this country with. Like, that's another thing we got to get out the way, too.
Okay. I'm on the phone, okay? Hey, you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you, bro.
Let me see.
You still trying to share? Or?
Yeah, I'm finna stop it.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to give people that visual of that.
Yeah, that's another thing. One of my uncles always told me that. He said, if you want to know what the so-called white man is doing, just search, because he write everything down. So he takes everything and lists it and make lists, and he keeps records of everything. So it's no getting around it, man. He know where you came from.
That's what John Clark said too. He said if you want to study your history, study the history of Europeans or the people that's suppressing you first. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Study world history first, and then study. You know what I'm saying? Pass the pieces of African history, because African history is world history. All play a part in all of it together.
All the same. Yep. Exactly, bro.
Yes, sir. So, with that being said, like I said, you got that Senegambian Sahelian influence. If we move into the arts, talking about the art that we brought with us, we can see a lot of that Senegambian Sahelian influence reflected in the music, and mainly in blues and gospel.
Indeed.
Blues, heavy Sahelian influence, and it's a book. It's a lot of information on the subject, but when you look at the Caribbean, they got a different type of a flavor. They got a mixture of that, but they also got a lot of that Congo type of flavor. In the Caribbean, more drum. I don't know if it was because they were scared of them drums up here, like them drums and that warrior type of
war drums, man.
The band, tried to shoo us away from that. So we had to work with what we had, and we had a lot of that Senegambian call and response, things like that. So the Caribbean, they got a rich African culture as well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know about.
Nope. I got a good article I'm gonna share. Now go ahead.
What was that you just said? I had skipped out a bit. What you say about the Congo?
Oh, I was saying that I was reading this article, right? I'm gonna go ahead and just quote what some of the pieces of what the article said. It says Afro-Cuban and African American music is very similar, yet very different. Why? because essential elements of these two musics came from different parts of Africa, entering the New World by different routes at different times into differently structured societies. The essential elements in African American music do not appear in Cuban music, swing, and the blues scale. Cuban music contains elements of the clave, a rhythmic key, and those undulating, repeating, melodic, rhythmic loops of fixed pitches called, man, I can't even, guajeo, montuno, or tambao. I can't even say that. The reason for these differences was that they reflected two different musical styles, that of Sudanic Africa and Forest Africa. Let me finish with the last quote. While the most basic feel of African American music come from the arid, Islamicized northern end of the territories in Africa, the most basic feel of Cuban music comes from the other end of the slave trade, tropical forested Congo. In Cuba, the Congo was the base style, and the group whose style was most importantly added on top of that basic Congo layer in Cuba was the Yoruba. So in here, they talking about how, you know, even though the styles are different, it's a lot of the same. You know, the Caribbean got a lot of that Congo influence, and we got a lot of that Sahelian influence as far as music.
And yeah, that's a way, even with the Shook records, that's a way you can tell who went where also. We got a lot of Sahelian influence, man.
Yeah, they cut off the Congolese slaves after the Stono Rebellion, because they had a problem with the Congos. They was an uprising, because the thing is, the Congo, remember the Congolese people, they was dealing with the Portuguese for a long time, so they had a sense of the known world. So you slay them, they already had military skills and shit like that, even from African skills and European military skills. So they was quick to pick up a gun and a horse, you know what I'm saying, with no problem. You know what I'm saying? They was, hold on, you know what I'm saying, we in this situation, we know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact. Them Congos.
Cause a lot of them was already Christian too. You know what I'm saying? They was Christian just by dealing with the Portuguese.
Yep.
They was very literate of the world.
Also,
go ahead, bro.
My bad, bro. The banjo.
Oh, you know, you good.
If you look at the banjo, it's an article called Senegambian Africans said to influence U.S. black music, right? And he was talking about the kalam and how the banjo might have been, you know, related to that. The history of the banjo in North America is unclear, you know, but they looking at the kalam in Senegambia and the banjo. Let me see what else they were saying. The presence of many Senegambian slaves in both those places is well established. Traditional Senegambian singing employs a stylistic device, a foudet, a recurring musical phrase. This is what they do in the blues. Like they got bars in the blues, and they'll repeat a phrase.
Yep.
They do the same thing.
My granddad used to play the blues, man. You dead on that.
You see what I'm saying? Repeat that. It's like 4 bars, and every other bar, they'll repeat a phrase. It's called a foudet. They do that in Senegambia. That suggests the singing style of the blues.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. You said I'm reading the Wikipedia article, African American music, and it say the modern genres of blues and ragtime were developed during the 19th century by fusing West African vocalization, which employed the natural harmonic series and blues notes.
Exactly, bro. And even the way that the pitch in your voice, like when you sing in the blues, it could begin on a high pitch to a lower pitch. They do that in you know what I'm saying, in West Africa when they sing it. So it's a direct connection to that.
And it's a reason why even in the Islamic world, why even like when they wrote us off in their book, they wrote off the kings of Mali as the sons of Bilal. Bilal was he called out the song of worship, you know what I'm saying, for Islam. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why they gave them that character, you know what I'm saying, in the book.
Exactly. Now while we on Islam, we could talk about something I want to talk about, amulets and talisman, even though this kind of going into religion, but I mean I might as well since we kind of talking about Islam. Another thing is like these. I don't know if y'all see that. You see these?
Yeah, I see it.
So this is a West Islamic amulet. It's called a taweez in Arabic, and it's a rolled up piece of the Quran, you know, and certain other things. And this is another one here.
That's Sufism. That's that Sufi. That's that West African Sufism. They call it metabot.
That metabout.
Yep.
So when you looking at the gree, let me share my screen. You can connect that with hoodoo, because they do the same thing even non-Islamically in New Orleans. When they was doing hoodoo, they do the same thing. It's called gree. So you got the taweez in West African Islam, and you got the gree talisman. It's the same thing.
Same exact thing, bro. Yeah, you going in.
So this is saying gree. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
You make it a little bigger, bro.
Okay, let me make it bigger. Hold on one second. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
So gree, also spelled gree, and sometimes Gregory, is a voodoo amulet originating in Africa, which is believed to protect the wearer from evil or bring luck. And in some West African countries, is used as a method of birth control. It consists of a small cloth bag, usually inscribed with verses from an African ancestors, containing a ritual number of small objects worn on the person. If you can see in the right corner, it's a West African Tuareg gree. And you have a Fula gree under that with some looks like Arabic and different yeah, that's some Arabic right there. The gree originated in Dagomba in Ghana and was associated with Islamic traditions. Now they moving it to Haiti. In Haiti, it was thought to be a good amulet. And then when you look at Neo Hoodoo, they make gree bags in Neo Hoodoo in New Orleans. So that connection right there, you know, I don't know who else making no gree bags or no taweez.
They ain't got those in Israel.
And they don't. They don't got that in, I ain't seen no Native Americans with that.
Something else I wanted to show something right quick, man. See y'all in South Carolina, and even on the plantations, when the Maroons would get away, and even on the plantations, cause when they first started bringing them over here in the 14th and 1500s, the slaves was building their own houses to stay in.
Yeah.
And even after that, after slavery was over, when they was freeing themselves, so-called free from the Emancipation Proclamation or whatever, they would go build their houses. And you can find some in the woods down here today. And I'm gonna share my screen. Let me see. I gotta get back to it. And they basically built them Congo style, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm gonna show the article in one of the houses actually.
Congo style. That's powerful.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on. Can y'all see my screen?
Let me see. Yep. Oh yeah. I see that.
House right there in the corner. Home near Edgefield, South Carolina, built by a freed Congo slave and photographed in 1907.
Mm.
And it comes from this article right here.
Wow.
As I said, Europeans write everything down. This was South Carolina's Information Highway. We know that South Carolina had a clear black majority from about 1708 through most of the 18th century. By 1720, there were about 18,000 people living in South Carolina, and 65% of these people were enslaved African Americans. In St. James Goose Creek, a parish just north of Charlestown, what we now call Charleston, there were only 535 whites and 2,027 black slaves. And see, when you read a paragraph like that, and you got to think back to Denmark Vesey, if his rebellion would have popped off, but we would have got our slavery a lot earlier in South Carolina. That's crazy. Just that numbers is astronomical. But these were the houses they was building.
That's amazing. Just to see that, though.
Yes. Some trace these buildings. Okay. Yeah, this is the part. This is the part I wanted. Whether we speak of food or housing or health, callousness towards slaves' welfare was the hallmark of the system. Archaeological research shows us that slavery in the early 18th century was very different from the view we have of antebellum slavery. For example, the nearest rows of wood frame slave cabins were seen so typical in plantations in the 1850s or a late reform developed by Southern planters in an effort to deflect abolitionist outrage. The early 18th century slaves often lived in minimal huts built of upright poles set in a trench and covered in clay. The roofs were probably covered in palmetto fronds or thatch. Archaeologists call these houses wall trench structures, and they were used at least up to the American Revolution. Most had no fireplaces and were built on earthen floors. The buildings ranged from 13 feet in length and only 9 feet in width to up to 21 feet in length and around 14 feet in width. There were only a few windows and they were all open, which perhaps only shuttered the clothes out of bad weather. These mud wall, thatch wall, trench buildings had relatively short lifespans. That sound familiar, Carlos? You know how they build the mud houses in Mali? They got to rebuild them every
That
year.
mud brick,
Perhaps only 10 years or so. They were quickly attacked by termites and other pests. The wet southern climate eroded the clay used to plaster these walls. The houses were probably very cold in the winter and hot in the summer.
That's a direct connection, my brother.
Some trace these buildings to Africa, pointing out the similarities in style, and certainly it seems likely that the design of these early slave houses were influenced by their inhabitants. In the 1840s or 1850s, the slave Okra built an African-style house with wattle and dub walls and a thatched roof of palmetto leaves on a Georgia Sea Island plantation. The owner, however, made Okra tear the house down, proclaiming that he didn't want no African hut on his plantation. As of 1907, a clearly African-style house was built near Edgefield, South Carolina. The former slave explained that he modeled his house in the traditional Congo style. And see, stuff like that, bro. Stuff like that is undeniable, man.
Undeniable. It's not a TP. It's not an ancient Israelite temple. It's a Congo, mud clay structure.
That European man said specifically, I don't want no African huts on my plantation. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, you can't deny that, man. You can't deny it. Now, I don't know why we want to deny who we are, but with the information that we talking about and presenting, it makes it kind of hard to really deny it, or at least look into the information. If you don't believe it, that's would be my advice for those out there who don't believe that we had these connections to West and Central Africa. Exactly. Look into the information that we presented.
Brother Geechee, I know you was building earlier. You were saying something about the food ways that we brought over here with the watermelon and everything. You want to build on it?
You talking about me, brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me just a minute. Let me get my sources together.
All right. Let me in something while he getting ready.
Okay.
Okay. So now we talking about the brother going in on the food connection, which is a very important. Okay. Another connection, what we might be doing at the food table, over here now when we get together for these various European holidays or even our own holidays, and you can get all the cousins together and the friends, we get the capping, ranking, and roasting each other. That's African.
Indeed.
And I'm finna share my screen. It's about 3 books about this. I go ahead and share my screen and show an article written in the Journal of Black Studies in 1976, actually talking about this. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
Okay.
Let's see, make it larger. Can you see it?
Yeah.
This is actually, he wrote a book about this. Amuzi Chamizi. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Mm-hmm.
But he wrote a book about this.
Oh
yeah, I gotta get that. That's powerful.
The Dozens, an African Heritage Theory. The Dozens is an Afro-American contest game in which 2 contestants, in the presence of a surprising audience, of a spurring audience of peers, try to best each other and casting aspersions on each other or each other's relatives, particularly the mother. Yo mama.
That's crazy, bro.
So they got a clean dozens, and it's a dirty dozens. You already know it depends on how serious it get.
Yeah.
Yeah, And let's see what the man was talking about in here. So you already know this is an African American thing that we do to this day.
To this day.
Even
with some of the like what's popular right now, the 85 South show. That's all they do.
Oh yeah.
That's all they do.
Yeah. So it's saying among the Igbos of Nigeria, names strikingly similar, almost identical to the dozens, is played by children, adolescents, and teenagers. It's usually played at night, at supper, under moonlight, and in the presence of parents, siblings, and other adult relatives. Aspersions or invectives are usually fancy. Actual deformities are rarely used. The game is called Ikocha and Kocha, which means making disparaging remarks, barely talking about people.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah, in Mali they call it Sanankuya.
So this is going on. So this is going on in Mali too, right?
Oh yeah. They say Sankuya. If you look up the Wikipedia, can you look at it? Can you go to the Wikipedia page real quick, brother Carlos?
Yeah. What should I look up?
Look up Sankuya. SANANKU YA.
Oh, SANAN.
Yeah. KUYA. Yeah.
Set them up. Hold on. Is that this?
Yep.
I'm joking relationship.
Yep, and they say right here, it say refers to the social characteristic present specifically among Manding peoples as well as many West African societies in general, often described in English with terms such as cousinage or joking relationship. The addition to Sankuya relationships that are pre-established between certain ethnic or professional clans. The Sankuya relationship can also be established between any 2 willing participants who have broken the ice. Those in the Sankuya relationship may treat one another as if cousins or close family members with whom familiar jokes or humorous insults are exchanged. It is considered an essential element of Mandi West African society. Sankunya also reputedly ordained as civic duty in the Kuru Khan Fuja, an oral constitution of Mali Empire. That's what I was talking about earlier, which our brothers are off the earth.
Right.
By Sandiata Kenyatta in 1236.
So you mean to tell me this in the oral constitution of the Mali Empire?
Oh yeah,
that's amazing, man.
yeah.
That's amazing, bro. And we do this to this day.
Oh yeah, they said it even like the Siri and the Tukala, they do it with each other. The Wolof and the Siri have a joking game with each other, and the Jolof and all them people.
Matter of fact, when I see my cousin later, I'm gonna roast him. Roast.
Oh yeah, but you even find this tradition like even like in the Caribbean and the Caribbean music and all all throughout the diaspora with the toasting in Jamaica, you know what I'm saying, when they get on the mic and they, you know what I'm saying, like Beanie Man going in on Bounty Killer, you know what I'm saying, that whole toasting thing. Even the griots back in the day used to have battles with each other, joning on each other.
Yep.
Like a rap battle.
Oh. So we got the direct connection still there. We got the direct connection still there, showing that we still retain these practices in our African American and or West Sudanic Creole culture, as the brother Geechee would say.
Nah, it's something Geechee put me on probably about a year ago. You know the stereotype about us and watermelon. And we know watermelon comes from Africa. But didn't you say we was getting money off watermelon after slavery though?
Oh yeah, crazy. Bro. Oh yeah, bro. Hey, Carl, can you do me a favor again and go to Wikipedia again real quick?
No problem, my brother. What I'm looking up?
Go look up watermelon stereotypes. It's an article on there.
Watermelon stereotypes. It showed plenty of them.
and what's crazy, we even insult each other about it. We're gonna do another show together. I'm gonna break down Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom a hero for real.
Yeah. Say that in the stash.
Oh yeah.
Hey, yeah, we definitely gonna do that.
We even insulting each other wrong because the European our oppressor got us twisted.
So is it the Atlantic article how watermelons became a racist trope, or is it
It's the wiki article. It's a watermelon stereotype.
Okay, I got it. I'm finna share my screen. I'm looking at it right now, and they got a picture and everything. Hold on 1 second.
You put some braids in the ponytail, and then the part you want in the bang.
Can y'all see that?
We can see your screen right now.
You can't see it?
Yeah, we see it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's say watermelon stereotypes of African American that states that African Americans have an unusually great appetite for watermelons. This stereotype has retained prevalence in the 21st century. And it's the reason why. You know what I'm saying? When African American slaves were emancipated after the Civil War. Just give me 1 moment, 1 minute. Hold on, I gotta get this baby together.
All right.
Yeah, you good, bro.
And look at that postcard in the right corner. The little girl,
man,
in the water.
Okay. And they say when African American slaves were emancipated after the Civil War in 1860s, free black people grew, ate, and sold watermelons, and doing so made the fruit a symbol of their freedom.
Wow.
Southern whites threatened by blacks' newfound freedom responded by making a fruit a symbol of blacks' preserved uncleanliness, laziness, childishness, and unwanted public presence. watermelons have been viewed as a major symbol of iconography of racism in the United States. So they flipped it on us.
That's crazy. I did not know that, bro.
We was even making money, like even doing the sharecropping. Before we started sharecropping, we was growing watermelon, and watermelon is an indigenous fruit to Africa.
Undeniable.
You look up watermelon. Just click on the link watermelon real quick.
Watermelon. It's okay. Hold on. How do I go to that? Oh, West Africa.
Yeah.
Domesticated.
It's a plant species, like flowering plant, originally domesticated in West Africa.
Man, it's crazy, bro. I definitely did not know that they flipped that on us, and I didn't know we was hustling watermelons.
Yeah, that was something new when Geechee put me on it too. That was crazy. I was like, wow.
Shoot, on 100, was that 100 in Chicago on 103rd? No, was it 101st in Halsted? It's a black-owned watermelon stand, and they go down to Mississippi and get them and bring them up here every summer. And everybody in Chicago know about that. And it's a red, black, and green flag outside of there, and I drive past it every day.
See, they carrying on tradition. They probably don't even know it.
They don't even know it. They got the red, black, and green flag out there, and they got a big, huge truck, and they go get hundreds of watermelons, and they sell them on Halsted all day long. While my Chicago people, go ahead and get you a watermelon. Real talk.
Real talk, man. We would have been millionaires off of watermelon business just alone. You know what I'm saying?
We need a gross national product.
Oh yeah.
But just continuing with it. Now my strong point is not linguistics, but I know it's a lot of other guys in the on Team Osiris that's their strong point, but I just wanted to just mention it, right? And y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Yeah.
And so everybody should know about this book. I don't know if y'all can see this.
Yeah, we can see it, bro. Africanisms in American culture.
Oh yeah, I gotta get that.
And this right here, woo, it's a heater, bro.
Yeah, I gotta get that.
You got the red, black, and green America showing what it is.
Yeah, I gotta get that.
Now let me read something out of here real quick.
Okay, bro.
Because they talking about like how we talk, right? The way that Africans talk, like I know a little bit of Wolof, right? So when you translate Wolof into English, it's a little weird. But when you look at it as an African American, the way I talk, it makes sense to me. So, like, for instance, it's like it takes shortcuts. So if I was speaking correct English, I would say, honey, I'm going to the store later to pick up some watermelon. That's how I would say that incorrect. But I can shorten that like a equation or a shortcut in mathematics, and I can say, I'm about to go to the store and get some watermelon.
Yeah.
You see how I just turned that long sentence, honey, I'm about to go to the store and pick up some watermelons. Like, I ain't got to say all that. As an African, I'm going to say, I'm about to go to the store.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't even say about. I say, I'm about to go to the store.
About to go to the store, exactly.
And this book talks about that, but it gets more specific in it. Even white Southerners have adopted and assimilated African speech patterns and have retained Africanisms such, well, it's talking about baton twirling and all this other stuff. Okay.
I was just about to say that, bro. That's a Wolof word. That's Wolof.
Okay. And even white people have adopted Africanism. Bozo for stupid.
Well, I think shucking and jiving African too.
Yeah, moolah for money.
Jive talk.
Juke, jive, jamboree, jam, jazz. Like you said, brother. What else?
Jazz means sex. Like it's a sexual term.
You hear me? These African words retained in American English have greatly influenced the richness of the language. We influenced American English. We started this shit. No, I'm just playing. but we influenced American English just as much as Europeans have. White Southerners also borrowed the elaborate African social etiquette system with term of endearment and kinship in speaking to neighbors, using such titles as auntie and uncle as signs of respect for elders. We still do this. Okay, auntie. This tradition of respect for elders not only continued, but also was reinforced by African social etiquette in the New World. And I'm gonna end it off with this. He says, Ebonics contains structural remnants of certain African languages, even though the vocabulary is overwhelmingly English. If we accept the creolization theory, that's what it's called, the creolization theory. When Pidgin becomes the native language of those who use it, it becomes a Creole language. The language spoken by African Americans was greatly influenced by the phonological and syntactic structure of first African languages. Ain't no denying it. We still, even though we speak English, we speak African. Stop it.
Yep, even our speech pattern, our dialect, our grammar, the grammar we speak is still African. Like when they told you, when you say finna or ain't in a word, it is a word.
It's a
African.
word.
That's not your Congo.
Thank you. I'm finna speak on that now. According to Brewer, Twi, Igbo, Iwe, Efik, all Niger-Congo languages, Jamaican Creole, and Gullah all exhibit a similar lack of inflection to show time. Present, past, and sometimes future time are indicated by context rather than by verbal inflection. Examples include Gullah or Geechee, I did go, meaning I go, I went. Jamaican Creole, yesterday me buy a saltfish. Iwe, made, and I go. Igbo, Ada bu abo, and Ada was carrying a basket. So that's what we do. We make the languages fluid to better communicate it. We turn this English into an African context so it's better, so we can communicate better. It's not that we're less intelligent. It's actually very intelligent.
I mean, you got to be intelligent to create a whole language out of drums and sounds too. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that. Like the way we talk is the way our music is.
Thank
you. Know what I'm saying? That's why, like when they took, like in North America or the United States, when they took a lot of our drums away, you know what I'm saying, especially in the central parts, you know what I'm saying, like in Mississippi. That's why if you hear like gospel music when they talk about the River Jordan and you know what I'm saying, the call, those were calls and chants, so other people from other plantations could hear those sounds and they'll find out the escape routes. You know what I'm saying, the River Jordan. That's how you get away for freedom and go to the north and all that. You know what I'm saying? Those are the replacements of the drums.
Powerful.
Bro, in 48 minutes, y'all, we done dropped some powerful stuff. I gotta say it, man. We definitely gotta do like 3 more parts of this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is this just the freestyle. Wait till we get structural with it. Wait till we get structural with the shit.
Yeah, I really just want to do this one, you know, so we can just lay down the basis and show them, like, Carlos done showed the language. Geechee done talked about the food. I done showed y'all an actual slave home that they built themselves and said it was Bakongo style. So, like, stuff like that, man, you just can't get around.
Facts.
And another keynote, too, for the people they be saying, well, West Africans, they've been in the Americas for the longest and all that. If so, find me one iron tool that the Native Americans had. If West Africans here, West Africa, one of their prized, you know what I'm saying, one of the prized metals in West Africa that's importance of wealth and trade was iron.
Right.
If we was already here, don't you think it'd have been iron tools and iron structures or some iron over here?
Exactly. And they basing that off the you know, the fact that when that West African, who was that
Abu Bakr,
right?
The king right before Mansa Musa. But
right.
The thing is, even in the letter,
exactly. I was gonna say that.
It basically tells you that he didn't survive.
Right. He didn't.
You know what I'm saying?
They ain't even hear from him no more.
Nah. They said even the first route, even the first team that he sent, they didn't survive, and one person came back because they got swept up by those currents. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Those Atlantic currents. They weren't used to that. They thought it was a river. They thought it was a river within the ocean. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
And those boats that they were in, those boats were built for rivers. Those were river boats for the like
exactly.
migrant different areas. Those boats weren't equipped for the ocean. So evidently, if he had all this shit on that boat, you know what I'm saying? They say he never was ever returned to hurt again. He evidently died at sea.
Yeah, he ain't make it, bro. He ain't make it. Because they would have, if he would have made it, he would have came back and that would have kept going on.
Oh yeah. It would have been kept going on.
So, you know, that's not to take away from the great elder, from the great ancestor. You know, they was bold for trying. I salute them for, you know, even going out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then like when we go back to the language for the people that say, oh, well, we original Hebrews and that, you know what I'm saying? It'll show in our language. Find me some Semitic terms or some Semitic grammar in the way we talk and speak right now in Ebonics, or which is the branch of Geechee Gullah dialect. You know what I'm saying? Only Semitic influences or certain terms or influence you will find is out of Arabic.
Exactly.
And most of that, you know what I'm saying, we you know what I'm saying, we did a lot of like a lot of our poetic influences come out of Arabic and Islamic, you know what I'm saying, because we bounce back and forth with that through our culture too, right before we came over here.
Exactly. That's real recent. That's recent in our history. That's why we have a special connection with Islam. I'm not telling nobody to go out there and convert to Islam, but but you know, we do have, you know, because of the region and our trade with North Africa and all that, we do have a recent connection. And a lot of those Senegambians, like I said, ended up over here and so on and so forth. So yeah, you know, we do have that Arabic influence because of that recent, you know what I'm saying, ancestry. But
Oh yeah,
you know, it is what it is. That go back to cultural continuity, like you said. Show me some Hebrew inside of what we do now, and you can't, because there's no cultural continuity. That goes back to that word. All cultural continuity coming from West and Central Africa. Period.
mm-hmm. That's what the Gullah people say on the coast of Carolina. They say we part of the Cumyas. You know, it was two different people who are the Cumyas, or the Europeans and the Africans, because we came from over there. You know what I'm saying? They call the indigenous people or the Native Americans the Benyas, because they've been here. That's why, like, if you look at the show Gullah Gullah Island, they call that frog Benya, because he indigenous. He's indigenous part of the land.
Man, you brought back Gullah Gullah. You brought that back out the Gullah Gullah Island. I remember. Wow, powerful. I got more.
Yeah, I got a whole bag of this shit. But we gotta do some more shows.
Yeah, because I'm a hand on the trigger, but I'm like, man, we 53 minutes in, you know. So I don't know if we want to keep going or how we want to do it. But damn, man, I learned a lot today, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I did too, y'all. Yeah, I really did. Part 2, man.
Oh yeah, we're gonna keep doing these, man. This a good stuff. We did about a whole Joe Rogan show.
Yeah, we did, bro. I was only planning on 30 minutes. We almost gonna hit an hour. We going in.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm gonna have to. This going on YouTube as well, brother.
Yeah, it's live now. It'll be on there.
All right, so I'm gonna have to say this to my, my library when I need some information to come back to.
Definitely.
Yeah, next time we should get really in depth on music.
Yeah,
and then do like this, because this pretty much just an introduction. This is how overwhelming this information is, man.
And we have so much of it.
We should do one on music, then do one on just food alone. You know what I'm saying? Just the meals, just across the diaspora all together. Then religion is one is on its own too.
Yeah, we got it.
Matter of fact, part 2 we could do music. I got this dope book I want to show y'all before we get off. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. I got one too I want to show you. Let me see.
And then language shit. We can get into language from English. We can get into the Spanish languages that have been creolized with West African language and the Portuguese languages, even the French.
Yep. It's so many ways we can show the connections.
Yeah, people get
book right here.
yeah.
Hey, check this out, bro. This how you know.
Book right here is fire, y'all.
Is that the
And what's crazy?
Think alike.
Wow, I gotta get that. What's crazy.
Great minds think alike, man.
What's crazy? The music is intertwined with the religion. You know what I'm saying? When you dealing with the blues, you're dealing with hoodoo. When you dealing with jazz, you dealing with voodoo. You know what I'm saying?
Come with it, bro. Come with it. You spot on.
Cause hoodoo with an H that was developed in the Delta area of Mississippi. Then voodoo, you know what I'm saying, was developed in New Orleans. Hoodoo in Mississippi has a little bit more obey in it, and a lot of Akan influence.
And hey, some of my New York brothers about to be mad, but Lil Jon and 3 6 Mafia's crunk music is more African hip hop than other stuff. And from the call and response, the dancing,
yep,
all that's African, man.
Yep, it surely is. Well, we'll go ahead and throw them a bone and go ahead and give them the jazz inspired hip hop part.
Yeah, definitely.
Jazz and ragtime.
Right, like Guru, DJ Premier from Houston, so I can't even.
DJ Premier from Houston.
So I can't even say him, but you know what I mean. Yeah, the New York, we'll throw him a bone and go ahead and give him the jazz hop.
I mean, shoot, Houston's still in that Gulf Coast region. I live in Houston right now, and it's heavily Gulf Coast jazz type, Creole swamp type, you know what I'm saying, atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? It was part of that Louisiana area.
Oh yeah, the Gulf Coast. Definitely. Man, it's so much we can go. We can go into the regional influences. We can go into the regional differences, but still that overall Africanness, different parts of the South, and even go into the Great Migrations.
That's why I really don't like that classification, African American vernacular English, because depending on where you at in North America, it's differences to how we talk.
That's a
slang in Chicago and slang in St. Louis ain't the same as slang in South Carolina.
It's different, bro.
It's differences. Like, it's deeper than that. You can't just say African American vernacular English. I might go to Chicago with you, brother, and I'm in a room with you and your homies. I might not know what y'all talking about sometimes.
Yeah.
The same as you come here.
Yeah.
So, man,
I'm gonna have to ask you, bro, translate what they talking about. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing,
but man. I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up.
Yes, sir.
Anything y'all want to say in closing?
I just want to say I look forward to the next shows, however many of them it is. You know, we're gonna keep coming with the information because we retracing our history.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna break this history down. I'm excited, man, to give people their real history and let the people know who we really are, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, hey, me and Geechee been talking about doing this for like 2 years, man. So. But peace and love to the family. Black African Power, Team Osiris is on the horizon. And until part 2, we out.
Peace.
Peace.